England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. The Patriot was Shankly, the fields of our field goal. We are all supporters, and we come from Liverpool.
Alrighty, we are on. I don't even know if that worked because it seemed to be a little bit. How's it going on my end here? I'm still thinking having some technical difficulties as per last week. But this is the match debate. I'm your host Nick for this one, joined by Peter the Coach Kofinas. Good evening to you, sir.
Nicholas, how are you, my friend?
Better, much better after the results overnight, shall we say? Over the last few days, yes, we didn't stumble when we possibly may have. I think it is safe to say. So yes, indeed, it is good to be a winner and not have to worry about stumbling and falling behind much further to Manchester City. But yes, we are here. It's just the two of us. It's just the two of us, baby.
Yeah, some old habits die hard, right?
Hey, mate, it's the most committed, mate. Consistency is key, mate. You knock them out with the consistency. And speaking of consistency, I think we have to start off. We're not going to drag on for too long here. So if you do have anything you want to add, please do drop your comments below. Like, subscribe if you're not already, and do share it around if you think it is good. And we do believe it is good quality content. So thank you for watching. But straight off the bat, consistency is key. And we seem to be consistent with Arsenal. And quickly, Pete, straight off the bat, overall performance versus Arsenal, it was a 2-0 win. Diogo Jota with 2 goals at the Emirates. Same team, if not similar to the one that started the week before that got the 0-0 draw. And job done, and we're off to another final.
Yeah, I thought performance was good. It was actually better than the one at home, which is odd. But it was just good to make a final. I was at that stage where I didn't care how we won. I don't care how we performed. It was just more so just get us to another final, because it's been a while since we've been to a final, and I think this team / manager deserve as many finals as they can get. So the fact that we got into a final and we did it with 2 absolute world-class goals, and I just thought that's just what a way to make a final.
It was nice. You go away to the Emirates, you get yourself 2 goals, a clean sheet, again with Kelleher in goal. And just on that, Klopp has actually said that Kelleher is a fantastic player, something to that effect, and that he will play in the final against Chelsea, which we'll talk about shortly. But before that, again, the performance, I mean, we started with pretty much a full-strength team. If I may, just quickly share the screen here so we can see exactly what the sitch is on this front here. And basically, as we can see there, full-strength team with the back line of Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, and Trent. We had Jones, Fabinho, Henderson in the middle, and Jota, Firmino, and Cade Gordon starting in the front third. And I think safe to say it was nice to see a youngster start, and you can have someone like Minamino and Chamberlain on the bench. I don't know if Chamberlain was in this game. He might have been not playing or injured beforehand, because he did, I think, picked up a knock a few days ago in the game against bloody hell, who the hell did we beat just the other day? Brentford. So could have been that front there. But as you can see there, Jota 2 goals. Decent lineup. Arsenal, for their credit, they did try as well, obviously with some players out. Again, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Martinelli. Klopp raved about Martinelli as well. And some player he will be. A lot of people are hinting that Klopp may be looking at Martinelli as a potential Liverpool player. Maybe playing a little bit too much into that. But yeah, decent game. Two assists for Trent, 2 goals for Jota. And straight to Antio Chill. Arsenal scouted Jota before we did. They even built him a multi-million-dollar Euro training ground back in 2006. Because he loves scoring against Arsenal. How many goals does he have against Arsenal now? He's got like 5 or 6 goals against them or something.
6, yeah.
Unbelievable. And I think that's the team he scored the most goals against, even when at Wolves as well. So it goes to show he's a quality player. But yeah, just on that as well, Diogo Jota. First goal, decent, managed to snag his shot, but still ended up going in. And then that second goal was just quality, the touch and the touch over the top.
That first goal for me was just, oh, fuck. Like, the build up and the football to get to that moment. Forget the finish. I couldn't give a shit. The way that we ended up getting there, with playing out with Trent rotating with Firmino, Firmino's little flick on, then the pass. Oh man, like that. That's a goal. That's a goal.
It was a quality finish. You have to say, the ball over the top, little touch, and just the audacity of the pass to just ping it from right back, cross field. It was shades of Van Dijk for Mane against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, if you recall, albeit Van Dijk from a more central position, Trent from a right back position, but nonetheless, it was still a pinpoint pass, like accuracy for days, and just the way to split the defense as well. Touch and finish. VAR had to intervene to get the lines right. It's nice when VAR intervenes to get the lines right. Shame they didn't intervene in that United last-minute win the other day against West Ham. I still think that was offside for Cavani, but
Of course it was.
yeah, it just looked offside massively. I looked at it as well on the replay. I just thought, that's offside. Surely they're calling back offside. And then they ended up just winning the game, and I thought, that's a little bit suspect. But
Trent
in any
did it
case...
against Morton, didn't he? Trent
Yeah.
did the same pass that
Yep.
led to the penalty.
Yes, exactly right, which we will talk about shortly, because another contentious penalty called for Liverpool FC in the Premier League once again. But yes, Diogo Jota, 2 goals there, good vein of form. He hasn't probably scored as many as probably we would have expected, but without having Mane and Salah in the starting 11, I think it's nice to see goals still coming from players we signed literally to do this. And he's been keeping Firmino out of the squad as well. Firmino's playing centrally, Jota on the left, Minamino or Chamberlain on the right, and Chamberlain's got 2 in 2 now in the Premier League as well, so Chamberlain's doing some things there. But again, the overall performance versus Arsenal, a 2-0 win, away from home, and even the Arsenal fans, I was watching AFTV after that, even they said, look, you just give credit to Liverpool, they were just better on the day. There's not much they could have done. Arguably, we are the much better team. Clearly, it shows on paper, on form, and in the league, and in the results in the EFL Cup. So that leads us to move over to another win. And
before we move on to that one, sorry, Nick, I just want to, because I don't feel like this player was spoken about enough during the Arsenal game. Like Curtis Jones again. Curtis Jones' performance against Arsenal was unbelievable. Not like, yeah, he did some really, really good things on the ball, but if you go back and watch the game and you just watch Curtis Jones off the ball, how many interceptions he makes, how many unbelievable pressured runs he makes, the pressing he does, the amount of balls he won, so amount of the defensive work he did. Like, I know we compare him to like Coutinho because he tries to be, fancy feet, cut in, shoot, but he played like the ultimate genuine album performance against Arsenal in that game there. So it was something that I thought that we just got to give this guy so much credit.
100% quality, and it's nice to see him being back in the squad after his eye injury as well. Now we just wait for Harvey Elliott now, and then we can probably have a midfield of Jones, Elliott, and Fabinho. Maybe Henderson might be actually relegated to the bench until Thiago comes in. I mean, imagine a midfield of Jones, Thiago, and Fabinho. You know what I mean? Like, it just sounds nice. Wishful thinking, though. And just quickly, Antio Chul also says Ty didn't. If you caught Ty's interview, he didn't give Liverpool any credit because Ty's just a bitter old man. Ty makes me laugh so much. Bless Ty. But that was the result there, and we are off to a final against Chelsea. It's going to be interesting. Klopp versus Tuchel once again. Obviously, they've got their beef from when Tuchel was at Dortmund with the whole 4-3 there. And then come back from the Germany days. So another final with Germans involved. What are you expecting out of this one? I know it's a bit early to talk about it, but just overall thoughts straight off the bat. What are you expecting out of this game?
It's hard because we're already starting our second keeper. So is it going to be like a weird rotated team, or are we going to go full strength plus Kelleher? And what are they going to like? I don't know. It's actually a really weird one. But in terms of a football match, it's going to be exciting because Chelsea can't defend their way to the title. They can't be like a 0-0 and expect to win. Yeah, okay, penalty shootouts, all that kind of stuff. But there has to be some form of attack. So they will have to open up throughout this game, which excites me.
Yeah, well, if we've seen Chelsea recently, they won somehow against Spurs. I still don't know how Kane's goal was disallowed for a pat on the back on Thiago, or Thiago Silva rather. But that's I have no idea how the hell that was called. But in any case, and before that, they were just getting draws, and they look lethargic, they look tired. Tuchel said that they used the excuse of tired. So you cannot be using that excuse come this final. And I do believe that our main boys will be back for that. So will we see? A proper front three of Mane, Firmino, and Salah, or Jota maybe will take that number 9 position. We'll see what happens depending on form, I guess. But it's nice we made a final. This is a chance to win some silverware. It's not the most glamorous thing, but hell, it counts, man. And that's and what I look forward to most when we're in finals and we do win them is that champions wall gets adjustment, another number gets added to that. So so
Just another little mark.
it's never a bad thing at all. That's what we like to see. That's what we're all about. Liverpool FC, winning titles, winning cups, doesn't matter what they are.
I'm at that stage now where I'm thinking to myself, I really don't care what trophy we win from now on in, as long as we win a trophy, because like I said, we can't look at the back of in the Klopp's era and let's pretend we don't win anything else again. And he goes and it's only 4 trophies, 2 major ones, because I wouldn't count the Club World Cup and a Super Cup as a major trophy. To be honest with you, people can claim whatever they want. For me, it's not a major trophy. They're just they're good trophies.
It's a nice addition. It's like look what we won, sort of a thing.
But we can't look back at the end of 2024, 2026, or whatever it is, and there's 2 major trophies. We've got to keep adding more and more to this pile because, as like I said, they deserve all the silverware they can get because they've been exceptional. They've been frustrating at times, and you want to strangle them and others. But if as a collective, and if you look at it from start to finish, like, come on, man.
There's quality squad. A lot of the players are still there that won that Premier League and Champions League a few years ago. Jota's the latest addition in there, and some of the younger players as well coming through. It'd be nice to see them get themselves a bit of a medal. Should we win it? But we'll see what happens. Come what was it? End of February. It normally is, isn't it? I think it's end of February. Whatever it is, the EFL Cup final.
Oh yeah, end of Feb, I think.
Yeah, it's always end of Feb, and that's nice. But the focus did have to shift from the win against Arsenal straight to the game against Crystal Palace, and it was a 3-1 win. And interesting stat: we've won 10 straight games against Crystal Palace with a 34 goal haul and a 6 against goal deficit. So, hey man. 24 goals swing against a team that was considered a bogey team no less than 5-6 years ago. Yeah. Not so much a bogey team anymore if you think about it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Speaking on this game, now that we've won and we can talk about it, we didn't deserve to win.
No, I was about to say I got a note here that says Palace, for all the chances they had, Alisson had to come up, big. But before we talk about Alisson, just this whole notion of 10 straight wins. Like we battered them 3-0 at home, 7-0 at Selhurst last season, 7 shots on goals, 7 shots on target effectively. And it has been one of those games where we've had nervy moments. And let's not forget, they were the last team to beat us at home before we went on that 2-year undefeated streak at Anfield or whatever it was before the capitulation of last season. And that was when they were considered like a bogey team. And we had close run-ins. Remember that 4-3 game or the 3-2 game a few seasons ago when Mane had to score in injury time to win that game as well? Like, we have had some good games against Palace, and that was when Roy Hodgson was there. But this is Vieira ball, and they do play some good football. And we saw it in that match because they carved straight through us a few times, which is what I want to get to. This section here, actually, I did have the note. I must have deleted it. But let's talk about that right now before we get onto the pluses for us. The negatives, they seem to get through us way too easy. And I noticed there was a high line in this game again, and it has caught us off guard a few times. And more so, the balls they were playing, it was almost like FIFA. I think George said it in our group chat. It was like FIFA through balls. It just manages to go through, and you can see a player can stick his leg out or get to it, but they don't because the computer AI says, no, let it go to make it a bit more exciting. It was one of those ones. It was frustrating to see, but you got to give Palace some credit because they did play some good stuff.
Man, that first 30 minutes won us the game. The remaining 60 was shit. So what frustrates me a little bit, okay, Matthew probably didn't have the best game, and I think it's time for Konate to get some minutes, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But what frustrates me is that when it's happened quite a bit, where a team will tactically change at halftime. We saw it with Brighton. We've seen it with a couple of other games throughout the season as well. The team will tactically do something at halftime, change, add an extra striker, maybe only play with two, but central, whatever it is, and it works for him. Like you saw it in this game now. So at halftime, he changed out. He changed his shape. We didn't adjust, and we got overrun. And you know what? It's something that I've noticed that we don't do very well, is that we don't adjust to other people's adjustments.
Yep.
It's kind of like
we're
doing the same thing. It's fine,
yep.
Even though they're clearly running straight through, or over the top, or maybe just instead of having the line at halfway, just instruct Virgil and the others just step back an extra 5 to 10 meters to deal with the long ball. But again, we kept getting run through. One thing I was positive about, though, was how many times we saw Curtis Jones defending in the box, tracking his runner.
Yes.
That for me was a huge positive, because we know on the right-hand side of the midfield, someone doesn't really track very well. He shall not be named, because we'll lose followers.
He wears number 14.
So I guess that's one of the positives out of it all. But I think it's just frustrating how we don't adjust to these situations that other teams start making changes. That's all.
Is this, I don't want to say naivety, but is this maybe naivety or stubbornness from Klopp? We've seen it. Just keep doing the same thing over again. There is no plan B. Just do plan A better. Is this what we're seeing? Is this a result of that? When you can notice, hang on a second, they've put two strikers up front. It's not one striker anymore. They've put two strikers up front, so now our defenders have two players to deal with, not just one, which makes it a bit harder for them to make decisions. Matip is drawn to one attacker. A through ball comes across. Virgil can't mark two players. He has to move, trying to get in position, and effectively that's how we concede that goal, because it's just a split ball down the middle. Matip is maybe drawn too much on the right side to Trent, and you just see the ball come through. Van Dijk can't do anything, so I don't know how people can blame Van Dijk for that. You could probably argue that he could have maybe stuck a leg out, but it's hard to put yourself in that position, and they get themselves a square ball tap in. And just quickly shout out to Boipelo Marema, who's finally happy to caught the show live. Thank you for joining us. And it does have to say, it does go without saying that we still do the same mistakes, and we've actually been caught out this time rather than, well, Alisson did save us. Let's not get it twisted. Alisson-El, like Kal-El, like Superman. So Alisson-El, our Superman, really came up in this game, man. The amount of saves this guy pulled off to keep us in there. 4 saves. 3 inside the box, 1 high claim, even when those were offside, still. We have criticized him over the last few months. He has had some shaky moments, again, conceding goals like the ones he did against Spurs, where he comes out of the box and completely misses it, or when he's fluffed his lines and he's dropped the ball, or he's been pushed over by a feather. But he really came up for us in this game.
I think that's where, going back to your whole remark and statement earlier about stubbornness and stuff like that, I think it's a risk Klopp is willing to take. I think it comes down to that. I think it just comes down to thinking, well, they can change all they want. I think Trent brought that up in an interview. He goes, regardless of what other teams play, he goes, we always stay the same. We always play with the high line. We're going to play with the 2 main centre-backs, dealing with all the work with Fabinho screening, and no matter what they do, we stick to doing the same thing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it comes down to just him being completely stubborn and trusting his players to adjust and adapt. That's why I feel like, Alisson has games like this today, because Klopp goes, regardless of how much they might split us, I trust Alisson behind us to do all the work possible that he needs to be when he gets called upon. And we saw it in today where it worked for him. And as he said after the match, I thank Alisson for saving our ass again.
And Alisson was like, it's my job. It's literally what I'm meant to do. Sort of thing.
I see. I get it. But in order to win the league, I guess this year, if we are trying to catch City and all that kind of stuff, I feel like those risks aren't going to pay off in the end. Especially like when you're versing maybe a better quality team than Crystal Palace. or maybe luck does run out, or sometimes a deflection that goes in, or if a referee forgets to call it offside, and we see what VAR can do against us. I feel like sometimes we do have to adapt to other teams' changes, and I feel like not all the time, because again, individually and as a whole, we have a lot more quality than the opposition, and we are a better team, we have a better manager. But I feel like sometimes we do have to adjust, and we're not.
Well, Klopp says that we did it, but we did it the hard way, but we did it. I think that's fair to say because, like you said, again, let's get back to this. Palace were good. Maybe we weren't really up to our game, but let's not get it twisted. They actually played some good football, and Selhurst Park can be an intimidating place to go to, but you still need to perform. And like you said, those 2 goals effectively won us the game because a shot from Anderson that he pinged outside the box from a loose ball from a clearance that could be deflected and he goes into the near post. The back heel that was it Olise or whatever his name tries. That squeezes underneath Alisson's arms, you know what I mean? And we've seen it happen before. It's Mane's dinked balls over Watford. This could have gone underneath Alisson. And then it's a 2-all or a 3-2 game, and then we're chasing it. We're the ones that are pressing forward, and then they can play counter-attacking football. So it's good that we didn't sort of like shit the bed in that sense there. But let's also make mention of Fabinho, who's probably been one of our standout players over the last few games. He's got 4 goals in 4 matches now, I think.
El phenomenon.
Mate, fabulous Fabinho. I think his missus put centre-back, striker, and penalty. Yeah, centre-back, midfielder, and striker equals Fabinho. So...
Hey man, we said that we need to find goals from somewhere when Salah leaves, and we found them. Chamberlain's found a couple of goals. Fabinho is on the Salah kind of a goal scoring streak. Obviously Jota's taken in as well. Jota's stepped in and done the job. It's just this team, man. Like sometimes when we need answers, they find them. Like that's what I love about this group of players. They dig in and they work. But we're scoring goals that we wouldn't normally score, which is like the goals that we've scored are normally, like if you look at it, Jota's goals have come from the left, but all our goals mainly come from the right. So we've kind of like flipped where the load's coming from, and it's just been. It's good to have Firmino back as well because you watch the game and you realise that he creates all these spaces for Jota to run in behind and defensively what he does for us. So it's great that he's getting some really valuable minutes after he's had like a weird season for him where he's fit, then he's not fit, then he's got COVID, then he's not fit again, and he sneezed, so he's got to be a week out because that's the protocol. And like it's good for him to get some serious minutes at the moment and look like he's back to fitness again. Because was it against Arsenal? It was against Arsenal. Sorry, when he drops into that little space behind halfway, does the little flick.
Yes.
By the time Jota's in the box, ready for the finish, Firmino's in the box.
Yeah, so he flick and he's running straight away.
Yeah, so people are thinking, he looks lethargic or he's lost it, whatever. This guy's just done a 70-meter lung-busting run to be in the box to help Jota get on the end of things after he started that play.
Yeah, so, it's not the first time he's done it. He does it a lot of the times. People don't notice these things. Oh, balls come from Firmino halfway, and then he's there to finish off a tap-in.
Yeah,
like who does that?
Don't worry about Firmino. Don't ever question Firmino ever. Like he's fine. He's fine. And you know what? When Salah comes back, I'll be playing Jota on the left, Firmino and Salah. That's my front three.
Mane on the bench.
100% Mane on the bench. I'd say sit there and have a watch. And then when you've got the shits and you're ready to come back and rip teams apart, on you go.
That's good. Yes, in theory it works. In practice, we'll see what happens. But yes, Fabinho scored himself a penalty in this game, and let's just go to that as well. VAR controversy once again on that penalty call, Jota. Do you think that was a foul?
Like, he didn't get the ball.
No, he got the player.
Yeah,
but the argument was correct, and it was like, did he move in towards the keeper? Did he try and move away from the keeper? Did he try and jump over the keeper?
Anywhere at all. I don't think he moved towards him. I don't think he moved away. I just think he stayed there and waited for the contact. But like, if we copped a penalty, like if someone blew a penalty against us and gave that, like I feel like he'd have the shit.
Well, wasn't there actually? I saw it on Twitter earlier today. I'm pretty sure I saw it. I think it was Riddick, the Firmino fan. He's got the picture of Firmino with the glasses on, and he put on. He had a GIF that he posted, or GIF, however you want to pronounce the damn thing, and it was basically Alisson making a save. Robertson diving in for a slide tackle, and the player coming behind him, like literally falling over Robertson, who's on the floor sliding in to try and stop it. Didn't actually tackle him. The player just fell over him, and apparently that was given as a penalty for the opposition. So I don't know if that's the actual case, but that's how I read
Was that the Danny
tweet.
Warbeck one?
Which one was Welbeck's one?
It was the most bullshit play I've ever seen in my life.
I want to try and find this now because it was so ridiculous, and I saw it. I just went, there is no way that would have been a legitimate thing.
Whether you like it or not, the keeper absolutely had no ball, and he went through him. Like, regardless if there was contact or not, or if Jota was not scoring or not, the keeper went through him. He did.
Yes.
And you know what? If they didn't give the penalty, well, we have drawn 2-1.
I found it here. 1 second. I found it. Give us a sec. I've got it right here. Let me just bring it up. I couldn't believe when I saw this. I just went, "You got to be kidding me!" Have a gaze at this. Have a gaze at this. So this is the It says doesn't matter if you can't get out of the way, because apparently this was what happened here. So if you're watching slowly, see, apparently that was given as a pen. I don't know if that's legitimate or not. I don't know. It's like, wait a minute, using this to justify an awful penalty today. Jota practically kicked the ball out. Everton players, no chance. Yeah, but again, if that's a penalty, when Robertson actually has made no attempt to get the player at all, then how the hell are you going to claim, or whoever it is, Jones or whoever, how the hell are you going to claim that that's not equally a penalty in its own right? So player gets collected one way or another. And it's not like it's our fault. We didn't influence it. We didn't berate the referee. The referee went and had a look himself. He had a look on the monitors.
He didn't even get told in years. He went to the screen and saw it. So fucking deal with it, you crybabies. Either way, we're going to win that game regardless. So
Kevin Friend was a friend of Liverpool in this game here. And look, the Crystal Palace faithful, I understand their frustrations. I know we've copped bad decisions on our end in the past when it comes to VAR and things like that. Like, you know what I mean? So I can understand their frustrations, but at the same time, we didn't make that decision. The referee did, based on what he saw. And Alan Shearer had a rant about it. A lot of pundits had a rant about it. But equally, as I said at the start, you can argue that Kane's goal against, or the disallowed goal against Chelsea, that should have stood for a feather touch palm on Thiago Silva, who fell down like he absolutely got hacked from behind, which I thought was a bullshit call in its own right. But that's the referees, and we've complained about referees this season already. VAR is taking away responsibility from the referees. But I'm happy that he actually at least went and had a look at the screen, because he could have just said, well, VAR says it's nothing, so I won't worry about it. He says, I want to have a look myself. He had a look, he made his decision, and he made his decision. And you got to blame Kevin Friend for that. You can't blame Liverpool for that. And all these people online and having a sook and a whinge and blaming us for cheating or whatever. Blame your keeper. Blame Gaeta for knocking over Jota, man. Like, what do you want us to do? But like the House of Hank, it doesn't matter if it's a foul or not. Keeper slid out and it was reckless. Like that, it is what it is. That is the situation there. Just quickly, Pete, off topic, but what are your thoughts on the Carvalho links from Fulham?
Yeah, I mean, it's got Harvey Elliott vibes towards it and stuff like that, where, bags of talent, good age group, bring him in under Linda's Klopp. I've gone blank with the Portuguese guy's name, Vitor Matos.
Yes.
I mean, if it's bringing in a player to make our team stronger, all day.
And before we wrap things up, we have a short session here, straight to the point, zip, zip, zip. Robertson, 46 assists for a defender. He's the second best ever in the league. Leighton Baines holds the record for a defender for assists at 53. I think Trent is not far behind at 44 or something to that effect, or 43 maybe.
Trent's going to the record. Forget Robertson, forget Leighton Baines.
I was just about to say, we mentioned it off air. You said, Robbo, you said Trent's going to get that record this season. And only Kevin De Bruyne has had more assists in the Premier League over the last 2 or 3 seasons with 52 assists. So they're doing all right for fullbacks, I have to say. So Robbo got himself his assists, and so much for him not being able to take corners. We can't forget that bullet header from Van Dijk. How the hell you leave him alone to run and literally just smack a ball smack in the back of the net. Gator just stood there and watched it go past. Even if he reacted, the ball's gone past him before he's even made a jump for
Marking
it.
was horrendous for that. That was, I went watching that and I'm just thinking to myself, what? Because it's funny, because little side or whatever, because at the moment I'm working on set pieces now with a group of players that we're coaching, and it's my responsibility for set pieces at the moment. And I look at that and I think to myself, this is a guy, coaching staff that is, who get paid well in a professional environment to do this stuff, and that's the outcome. I think to myself, fuck. So it took a lot of pressure off me. I thought, okay, so I can make a couple of mistakes, and if that's the case, because that was atrocious.
So was that zonal marking or was that man to man?
That was
if that's
zonal
man
marking,
to,
but it's weird how they left the front post open, because a lot of Liverpool's corners, if you watch them, a lot of them do get delivered to the front post.
Yeah,
and they left that area free, which wow.
Yep, and Robbo picked a pinger for Van Dijk, and
Robbo
also
can't normally clear the front post. So that's why they keep aiming for that area, because he can't get it further than the front post.
It's taken a whole season. It's taken half a season to prank the rest of the league to think we can't take short, close corners at the near post, and then lo and behold, we finally fooled everyone, and now we're going to start taking all corners to the near post of Van Dijk and just smack him into the back of the net.
Less than half a season of shit corners. So when we play Palace, we can score for the near post.
Big tactics, but also assisted Chamberlain for his goal as well. And as I said, Chamberlain 2-2 now. Nice to see him scoring goals, and again Robertson with the assist for Chamberlain. So hey, man, scoring goals in that front third position there. I don't know. It's nice to see, and he got subbed off. Minamino came on, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So again, got himself a goal. Confidence playing. It'd be nice to see him in the midfield, but if he's going to give you a goal a game at the moment, you'd keep him there, surely.
Yeah, just play. Just
play, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. The House of Hank once again. What about the return of Elliott in a fortnight? Peter, you excited about Harvey Elliott coming back?
I'm excited because, obviously, the more plays back for us, the better. What I don't want to start seeing is people putting unbelievable amounts of pressure on him. Is he going to be the one who wins the league for us? Because he's not. Like, it's something that if he can play, 10. How many games left in the season, let's say? How many games? We're halfway now? Somewhere there?
Give or take. Yep.
So if he can play 10 games from now to the end of the year, that would be a success for me. Just to come back, get 10 solid games in, whether they're FA Cup games or whatever it is, League Cup games, and slowly build him back to the confidence he has. Because don't forget, his form at the start of this year for us came off a full season at Blackburn, playing week in, week out. So he's not just going to come back and go, I'm back to this level straight away. I think he's going to take some games to get back to that level. So if we can, in our minds, to make ourselves easier, so we don't complain about it when it happens, like if we can use this year to build him for next year, for the remaining half of the season, and if we can focus on that to get Harvey Elliott up to scratch for next season, and that's, for me, will be a great success. And that's what makes me excited, the fact that we can build him for next season now.
Well, we're going to treat him as a new signing, as is the old cliche. But before we wrap things up here, Anto Chill once again says Liverpool and other big clubs probably do get more big decisions, but that's because they have more of the ball in the opposition penalty area. They also have more decisions turned down, according to Neil Warnock. Is that fair, though? That's sort of like the XGA, like the expected goals based on possession and shots on target and things like that. Do you think that's sort of like a fair call? Because you have more of the ball in the opposition, chances are more likely to fall your way to get something like a penalty?
That's a difficult one for me, because if I get into the box twice per game and you get in the box 10 per game, but you don't get any fouls and I get one and go down, I don't think it's the amount of times you get in the box. Obviously, the more times you're in the box, the more risk you are getting fouled. Yeah. I get all that. But I don't think being a big club or not makes a big decision, because at the end of the day, a foul's a foul. I don't really believe in that stuff, to be honest with you. But I could be completely wrong. That's just my opinion. I don't believe that these things happen. I think personnel so Man United under Ferguson got everything under the sun, right?
No, did they ever?
That's when Mike Riley was head of referees and he was a Manchester United fan or whatever it was, and that makes a bit more sense. But because we're Liverpool, we don't just get a call. Like we've seen actually go the opposite in recent seasons, where we don't get the rub of the green with referees.
Yeah, no, it's how many times have we seen penalties not go our way, or because a player has stayed on his feet, it hasn't been given, but when another player goes down in the same sort of fashion, automatically it's a penalty, and handball's not going for us, and things like that. These things do happen. Maybe eventually they even themselves out, but again, guy cleaned him out. It is what it is. So I don't know what the situation is there. It is one of those odd things to point out there. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Would we have won that game 2-1? Would we have scored a third goal? Would they have equalised? Who the hell knows? It's done and dusted. 3-1. We get points in the bag, 100%. And Boyopelot says City fans would keep quiet after that BS pen they got versus Wolves. Yeah, that exactly right. Like absolute nonsense on that penalty. Yeah, that was way worse than ours. That was a bullshit penalty, and somehow they got that. Pete, before we wrap things up, I know we mentioned it the other day on the last show we did, but because City drew 1-1 against Southampton and we have some games in hand, and people have been trying to make this exciting and trying not to make it see the league's over already. Is the title race still there?
I love how every Liverpool fan has become a super mathematician after they drop points.
Well, if we win our 2 games in hand and then they draw 3 games and we beat them and then they lose another one, yeah, we can. Mate, this is City we're talking about. They won 12 in a row. Like
House of Hank. Sorry, Nick, one sec. House of Hank. Yeah. Let's see in the next show. Please come in the comments and we'll get you on the show one day.
100%. 100%.
Awesome. 100%. Thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Couple of Aussies talking Liverpool.
Yeah, again, about time we got some luck. I agree 100%. That's why I'm enjoying this. But it's funny how all of a sudden everyone has become like, like, The Hangover, and he's coming and he's playing in Las Vegas and he's sitting then it was, look, it's is the title race there? It's there because it's mathematically not over. That's the best way to look at it. And I'm not going to sit here and be, it's done because, it's City, they're a super team and we're really good at fucking up games we shouldn't. But I'm going to tell you, the title race is, there you go. That's
every Liverpool fan right now is calculating their heads. How many points, how many draws, how many wins.
Look, we win the catch-up game, I think it goes to 6 points.
Yeah.
We beat them, it goes to 3.
Yeah.
But that's assuming that we keep winning every single game and they still lose games.
Exactly. Yeah, they need to lose games or at least drop some points, and we need to not lose. I don't see us... I still see draws for us this season. Where they're going to come, that's a different story, but I don't see us going undefeated, man. Like, unless Mane and Salah come back and they just kick on some mad form and then Firmino starts scoring goals and Thiago comes back and starts bossing the midfield and we stop conceding shitty goals from, one-off chances, then we can maybe think about it.
I think a lot of people, when they go to this like mathematical craze, they forget that they really just think about City's dropping points and they don't really factor in the fact that we drop points too.
Yeah.
And so it's something that, like, the best way to look at this title race right now for me, and I think this is what makes me very relaxed about the title race itself, is that, yes, mathematically we can still win this league. And if you look at it only that way, then I think it brings less stress upon yourself. Instead of thinking, catch-up game against Leeds, we've got to beat them, they've got to lose another 2 games, we can't lose. Like, it's just, don't do that to yourself. It's too early.
Don't stress yourself out.
Don't do that to yourself. Just enjoy the ride at the moment and just pray to God we push them all the way through the end, because you saw Pep after that match, his interview, he was rattled.
Very happy. Best performance. You think so?
He was rattled.
Yes.
He was rattled. So
badly. Southampton are a bogey team for them.
But they're a team that do get rattled, and they've got a weird patch. They've got one weird patch. I think they've got to play United, they've got to play Tottenham and Everton. Okay, yeah, for all the laughs, they're still under that whole new manager syndrome. Anything can happen. But look, anything can, and they do want the Champions League, right? So they want to focus solely on the Champions League. Just stay positive. Just stay positive and don't drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, end of February, they've got Tottenham at home on the 19th. On the 26th, they've got Everton away. And on the 5th of March, they've got United at home. Then they've got Champions League away, then away to Palace. And Palace have done them over at home at the Etihad, at least, not so much away at at Selhurst Park, but you never know with these things. But Pete, I think we'll wrap it up there. A nice, short, sharpish one, 40 minutes straight down. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, or rather consider subscribing. Yeah, international break as well, and then that's coming through. And we'll have an AFCON update in Mane versus Salah in the qualifier for Qatar 2022. So that'll be interesting there. But once again, thank you very much. And House of Hank, 2 weeks off, great timing, and AFCON lads coming back, good shape with plenty of opportunity ahead. Almost a full squad to pick from. Everyone should be back come February, or at least at some point in February when everything comes back to normal. So
remember,
once again,
100% success record when Thiago's playing.
Thiago and Fabinho in that midfield. Mate, it is happening. But thank you once again for joining us, everyone in the comments for contributing. And we have been the Red Sea Down Under for the Red Sea podcast. Thank you very much, Pete, for joining. And catch us next time